Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, and there was a lot over the weekend. We're going to give you my thoughts on them, including big changes coming to YouTube TV and Fubo. We'll tell you what's happening there. Also with this, what's the best streaming player out there? We got a survey. We're going to break it all down for you. What's the best for cord cutting? And big changes coming to MSNBC and NBC as Comcast gets ready to get rid of MSNBC. And let's not even forget, in all that news, Netflix wanting to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. It's being reported that Netflix is reportedly preparing, or at least considering, I should say, in bid to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. This comes as Paramount's looking to buy it. These stories and a lot more, because there is a lot more to cover coming up in a quick second. So we're going to break this all down and more here for you. You can find a link to every story I talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comment, so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinion. Let me know what you think. I'll love to hear from you. If you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. All right, with that said, let's dive into it. YouTube TV is adding 10 more local channels. This comes as it has a deal with Nexstar, the owner of the CW, to continue to add CW-owned affiliates. This comes as YouTube TV has been slowly adding more and more local channels. If you haven't looked at it, you may find more channels than last time you looked at it. But today you got a bunch of them, include Joplin, Missouri, Wichita Falls, Texas, Fargo, North Dakota, Columbus, Georgia, Lincoln, Nebraska, and more added. If you want to see the full list of channels, check out the show notes, and in the first pinned comment you'll find a full list of them there. Again, YouTube TV's been slowly adding new channels. It joins a growing trend of more and more adding, especially CW affiliates, as the CW becomes more and more popular since they've been airing more sports recently, so check it out. Also, Fubo's making some big changes. They've disabled temporarily some features with it. Now, Fubo apparently ran into a bug with recordings not properly being executed, affecting or happening when they weren't asked for, affecting the ability for the team news catch-up feature, the catch-up to live, and the game highlights feature all being disabled as Fubo works to fix this. Maybe by the time this gets posted, that'll be fixed. But if you've been looking for these three features on Fubo, Team News, Catch Up to Live, and Game Highlights, they are coming back. But Fubo says they've detected a glitch that caused an issue, so they temporarily disabled them. Look for that. Not a big surprise. These things happen from time to time. It's good to see Fubo being proactive to resolve the issues. All right, next up, we did a survey asking people what is your favorite, or I should say, that was not the wording. What is the best streaming player for cord cutting? And the results are not surprising and are all at the same time. And I'm probably going to do a deeper dive on this in the future, but quick breakdown of it. Roku came in with 61% of the vote, more than all the other votes combined. Not a big surprise there, but Fire TV came at just 17%. Apple TV came in at 14%, and Google TV surprisingly only at 8%, excuse me. Now, I've been seeing a lot of people liking Google TV, not a lot of talk about it. People really love the Walmart on streaming players of the Google TV. Of course, the Google branded streaming player is also very good. But to see it at just 8 really shocked me. It did not surprise me that Roku was number 1. It's been consistent there, though its lead is shrinking just slightly. I am very interested, though, to see if Google TV will continue to grow or what is happening there. But I was shocked. I thought it would be a little bit higher than just 8% of the vote based on the amount of talk about it I hear online. So we'll keep an eye on that. But let me know, do you agree with this list or not? Is Google TV the best out there? Is Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV? Leave me a comment. Let me know. All right, last week we learned that Paramount was in advanced stages to get ready to make a multi-billion-dollar private bid to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. And Warner Brothers Discovery seems very interested in considering bids. Now, take that with a grain of salt. All businesses ultimately are for sale, right? I sold this once and bought it back. If the price is right, hey, why not buy it? But ultimately, I'm happy to be back. But Warner Bros. Discovery, being a publicly traded company, has an additional due diligence requirement for its stockholders to get the best possible price here and always be open to offers. And they've reportedly explored interest with a bank that specializes in this to discuss possible tech firms as potential buyers. And now it's being reported out there from Puck's In the Room coverage that Netflix is interested in buying Warner Bros. Discovery. I'm sure they are if the price is right. The question is, will the price be right? This could create a bidding war between Paramount, Netflix, and I suspect a few other potential buyers. Warner Bros. Discovery is struggling, along with all media companies. Let's be very honest, the media landscape is very different than it once was, forcing companies out there to really reconsider what they want to do. And I do think we'll see consolidation. I've talked about that for a while. Now, I did not necessarily expect a consolidation on the grand scale of a Paramount Plus and Warner Bros. Discovery merger, but I can see it happening. And I see other smaller companies being consolidated in the future also. Now, again, them being interested, I mean, I'm sure Netflix has an entire business division that's always looking at potential acquisitions, deals, partnerships, and the like. And just because they are reportedly looking at it doesn't mean they necessarily will. I can definitely see why they would be interested, especially as Warner Bros. Discovery is preparing early next year to spin off all of its cable companies into an independent company, keeping its studios and its streaming service along with HBO separate from its cable networks. I suspect Netflix would be interested in the studios and maybe even HBO Max, but not the cable network. So you could definitely see a situation here where the cable networks get split off and then Warner Bros. Discovery gets purchased. I also would not be surprised if Paramount does the same, if they buy some of the assets but not all of it as part of this plan to split the company here. We'll keep a close eye on it, but for now, Warner Bros. Discovery is definitely up for a bidding war. Will the price be right? I mean, a lot of people can bid, but if the price isn't right, just not going to happen. Speaking of companies splitting up, in our next news story, Comcast is getting ready to separate very soon most of its cable networks, I should say, into an independent company. These networks include its news networks, MSNBC and CNBC. Now, MSNBC is going to be rebranded here soon as, I believe it's MS Now, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. I apologize. Yes, MS Now. But with that, it requires their news of NBC News and MSNBC News to split. And that will be happening in early October, Comcast has announced. And with this, previously, MSNBC pulled most of its coverage from its NBC News side. They're going to now need to build their own news team and no longer rely on the national NBC News team with that. So we'll see how this happens. But according to Comcast, they're separating here. Certain employees will go with MSNBC. Certain employees are staying with NBC News. And while it doesn't mean that they couldn't work together in the future, there need to be some financial compensation going back and forth on this. For MSNBC, this is a huge loss, as they no longer have access to excuse me, I've been a little sick recently. I think it's catching up to me. They're losing access to a massive network of local and national news sources from NBC. Not only are they losing access to national and local news, they're going to have to move into new studios because they're going to be losing their studios as part of this deal. It'd be very interesting to see what MSNBC looks like once it becomes MS Now after the company splits later this year. Wildly speculative on this part, but I suspect we'll see them lean more heavily into opinion programs, which don't necessarily need as much of the depth of the news coverage that they're losing from NBC News. We'll keep an eye on this, but big changes coming to MSNBC. Seems to be a big trend recently. Lots changing in the world of TV, and cord cutting has a big part in that. Speaking of things changing, MeTV's parent company is buying another TV station. If you live in Atlanta, MeTV's buying WSKC with this, and their parent company, the Weagle Broadcasting Company, will take ownership of it. In the immediate future, no changes, but I suspect more MeTV branded content coming to Atlanta here soon with this deal there. This comes as they've been slowly buying up TV stations across the country. MeTV's parent company is becoming quite a powerful player in the world of free over-the-air television. Speaking of television and powerful players, Roku now has 10 manufacturers producing and selling Rokus across the United States and more across the world. Now, Roku manufactures its own brand. We've reviewed the Pro Series and the Select and other Roku TV brands, but it has a growing list of partners out there, including, of course, Roku Hisense On from Walmart, though that one's probably coming to an end according to reports. Out there, I forget where it was, but I suspect that Vizio is going to replace that. Sharp, Pioneer, TCL, Philips, Westinghouse, JVC, and ProScan are all listed on Roku's website as selling in the United States. As 1 in 3 TVs now sold in the United States come from Roku, or at least run a Roku OS with that. So let me know, are you a fan of Roku TVs? We did a breakdown of Roku TVs are right for you. Check out our video from over the weekend as we take a look at different things. All right, Disney Plus is getting a new popular TV show. I should say a returning popular show. The Muppet Show is coming back with a Disney Plus special coming in 2026 in time for its 50th anniversary of the original Muppet Show. We'll be returning to Disney Plus, so check that out, coming soon. NBC Sports' Peacock is reportedly locking up a Major League Baseball Sunday package. Now, this comes as ESPN is ditching its Sunday in Major League Baseball games. It sounds like NBC will pick those up and put them on Peacock. So you're going to be needing Peacock to watch all your Major League Baseball games. Not officially announced at the time of this recording, but widely suspected as an almost done deal, just waiting for the official announcement. I suspect sometime this week. Who knows? Maybe by the time you're seeing this, it could already be official. Also, Google TV, if you're a fan of the Google TV OS, we just talked about it earlier, is updating its home screen. Now, 9 to 5, Google spotted this, but they're updating the look of it, updating its menu bars and layout with this. If you want to see a full breakdown, check out the link in our show notes. Over to 9 to 5 Google with that. Nice to see the nice update come to Google TV as they try to continue to maintain their growth and changes with it. And lastly, NPR will be cutting about $5 million from its budget as it loses federal funding. Now, for now, there's wild speculation of many NPR stations shutting down. Not a ton confirmed yet, though there's multiple ones saying they may be forced to soon. Keep an eye on NPR stations expected to lose dozens, if not more, stations over the next year as they struggle with the financial crunch of losing federal funding. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Don't forget you can find a link to every one of these stories in the show notes. If you want to make it easier to find them, we have a free newsletter where we email out these stories every morning. It goes out about 7:30 in the morning every day. These stories and many more that get only covered over at corecarsnews.com can be in your email box for free. Check out our show notes for a free link to sign up for that newsletter. Until next time, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all again tomorrow. Be safe, everybody.